Test, test, test. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Let's make sure that works. Yep, there we go. Okie dokie. Hello, Ryan. Thank you for tuning in a little early. Started it up. I'm still very paranoid about something going wrong, so I decided to start a couple minutes early. Hello, Johnny Boy Blaze. I am currently looking at the covers of a comic that I'm going to be discussing. Oh man, some of these covers are grotesque, and not in a way that I personally enjoy. Hello, Alex. Or are you not Alex? Alex, not Alex. Alex, but not Alex. What kind of riddle is this? All right. Oops. Oh. I almost forgot to get ready to start doing this because I got preoccupied with reading Epstein files. I've fallen down that rabbit hole once again of just being fascinatingly obsessed with reading all of the crazy shit in Jeffrey Epstein's emails. And I was doing that on one monitor, and then simultaneously on another monitor I had video essays on Kojima playing. And I looked at the clock, I was like, oh shit, there's only 10 minutes before 5. I have to watch some trailers before I forget. Let's see. Spectacular Spider-Man DVD. Yes, it is. Right there under my or above my head. Yeah, it's that's the box set of the whole collection. These this top shelf right here in the video, those are all the comic book Blu-rays, DVDs that I have. As you can see, the giant Smallville box set is right there across from it. And then below that is general films, Star Wars, Indiana Jones. I got my little Marty and Doc toys right there. Don John, one of my favorite films is 2013's Don John, starring and written by Joseph Gordon-Levitt with Scarlett Johansson. I absolutely love that film. I think it is fantastic. It is a great commentary on relationships and unrealistic expectations for love. It's a great movie. That copy on my shelf is it's like a sample that they sent out for, people in the Academy Awards or whatever to watch and then vote on. It's a screener sample that I found on eBay, and in front of it I have, still wrapped in its shrink wrap plastic, the Don John breath mints that they released as promotional material. And on my wall I have 2 8.5 by 11 Japanese posters for Don John, and a horizontal one that I don't really know where that would have been presented, because it's about this long and this wide. So it I don't know where that would have been, but it's cool. What's everybody? Xenoid Prime. Hey, Smokey, really enjoyed covering the Ultimate Marvel Universe and Absolute Batman. Someday I should cover these Transformers Skybound comics. Is that the recent one? Is that the new one? Is that Skybound? Is that something new, or is that the older one? I talked about it last week very briefly. The only Transformers comics I've read are the 2 issues that I covered on the channel sporadically, and the first volume collection of the Transformers UK that was printed 10 years ago or something. Hello, Mellow Marshy. Glad to see you back. Deckies as well, and Bookie Wookie. Daniel Warren Johnson wrote the first 24 issues of Transformers until Robert Kirkman took over. Oh, Robert Kirkman's doing Transformers now? I should have read further, because that just kind of answers my question. I didn't realize, damn, he did 24 issues? Jeez. Shy Samurai, hey dude, thanks for making the best comics channel on YouTube. Appreciate the work. The Ultimate Run and Civil War were so fun. Thank you very much. That means a lot. I'm glad you enjoyed those as well. I do plan on getting back to Ultimate Comics in the future, because there's still more that I have to cover, because I do want to cover every single Ultimate comic. Because then I'm going to have to make the Ultimate timeline, and I'm going to have to explain to everyone my headcanon for the Ultimate Universe. Don John is fantastic. Thank you. Okay, yeah, because Skybound is the new, what is it? That's Robert Kirkman's little special imprint at Image, because he gets to run the kingdom now. He gets to fucking do everything. It's C3F. Hello, Smokey. Just wanted to say I've been watching your channel for a few years now, and hands down one of the best oh, thank you so much. Best comic creators on the platform. I interrupt myself as I'm reading these. That's a bad habit. I gotta stop. Thank you so much. After IDW sold their Transformers license in 2022, God almighty, that was 4 years ago already? Jeez, I just realized the Black Widow movie's 5 years old. Yelena has been in the MCU for 5 years. On Natasha's second appearance in the complete timeline in the Marvel comic universe, and the first time she really became a villain and not just pushed to the side. That doesn't last long. Yeah. That's true, Echo. So, Echo, if I remember correctly, you're reading through the entire Marvel universe, like, seemingly chronologically. So, this means, if I have my memory serves correct, this is like dress Black Widow, where she has like the domino mask and she looks like a real dame. Let's see. All right. So let's get into things. As you can tell by the title of the video. Oh, right. No, I gotta do the intro. Hey everybody, Blake T. Wilde here, and welcome back to the Comic Schtick Podcast, the podcast where comics are my shtick. And this week, I'm actually right out of the gate talking about comic books. I'm going to be talking about at least 2 comic books this episode. So that's like a better average than most often. As you can tell by the title of this video, or this audio podcast, if you're listening sometime later in the future, check out Smokey's Comic Vault on YouTube, where I live stream these. I don't know if I'm going to do it every week, but I have for the past 2 weeks, so we'll see what happens. But check it out. This episode, of course, is brought to you by my Patreon, patreon.com/Smokey'sVideos, and Etsy, BlakeTWild.etsy.com, where you can pick up the physical copies of all of my self-published comics. So, yes, there's stuff going on with Robert Kirkman that apparently happened, 2 weeks ago, but I didn't know about it until I saw an article reporting on this article that I'm about to reference about Robert Kirkman. So, it is from denofgeek.com. It was posted August 7th by Jackson McCoy. Invincible creator Robert Kirkman is trying to, quote, broom the boring out of comics. So, the gist is that Robert Kirkman has a new comic book coming out. It's called it's just called Terminal. Just Terminal, which is... I'm just going to read it directly from the Den of Geek article. The comic's first issue follows Marilyn Howe as she desperately searches for her missing sister, Alessandra, and discovers a secret war between 2 opposing factions of metahumans that each blur the line between good and evil. Co-written with Joe Casey of Uncanny X-Men fame and featuring art by Andy Kubert, Terminal Issue 1 hit shelves July 22nd, blah, 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 blah. Who cares? So, as he's explaining Terminal number 1, oh my god. He says, Terminal is similar to Invincible, where it's a very complex universe, Kirkman tells Den of Geek. There's a massive cast of intertwined characters and a lot of cool subplots and Wait. All right. I was just thinking, this is like the best written, grammatical, at least, article from a comic book website I've seen. Because I've read quite a few of them off on this show. But then I get to something where there's just a random period in the middle of this sentence. So that threw me off. A lot of cool subplots, and it's gonna be another evolving story. So hopefully when you're reading issues 25 and when you're reading issue 50, you'll be like, oh my god, I can't believe issue 1 of this series is the same book. Everything has changed so much along the way. Kirkman and Casey's much darker and much more violent creation is indeed going to expand into an ornate narrative, drawing inspiration from the edgy, action-packed comics of the 90s, while maintaining a very human, emotional core. In particular, Kirkman lists Rob Liefeld, Jim Lee, and Chris Claremont, alongside a slew of other X-Men writers and artists, as firing on all cylinders during the notably controversial phase of the comic book universe. I don't really know what that means because Rob Liefeld did do a cover for this book. But then like Chris Claremont is brought up. So what I assume it means is that those are like his influences for this comic, because the Claremont stuff makes sense with the previous paragraph where it's like, well, you know, when you're reading issue 25 and issue 50, you'll be able to look back and you'll be like, oh my gosh, that connects here and this is different here, and now, oh my gosh, so much has evolved. Like that must be what it is, right? Okay, but hold on. Next up is the direct quote from Mr. Kirkman. The 90s comics were so focused on staying energetic and exciting and in your face, and that's something that we're trying to bring back to comics, Kirkman says. I think as things have gotten more writer-driven, things have gotten a little bit more intellectual. And when I hear intellectual, I hear boring. We're trying to broom the boring out of comics as best we can. Can you see where I might have an issue? Especially if you've watched my videos on Absolute Batman, or my videos where I just kind of discuss comic book storytelling as like an art form and what it can possibly do. Is there anything else worthy of talking about on here before I just kind of get into my tirade? In addition to being the architect of an entirely new world, Kirkman is also bringing momentum to a decades-old Okay, so this just starts talking about Transformers and fucking whatever. Yeah, the rest of the article is about Transformers. So let's discuss Terminal. Do I respect Robert Kirkman? I don't know if I do. Because Terminal, number 1, $4.99. The must-read superhero series of the year from the dream team of Robert Kirkman, Joe Casey, and Andy Kubert, David Finch, and Arthur Adams. Where'd the other two come from? Why were they hiding David Finch and Art Adams in the article? There's a secret war being waged across the world by two violent forces with superhuman abilities who blur the lines between good and evil. When Marilyn Howe's search for her missing sister, Alessandra, puts her at the center of the conflict, blah, 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 blah. Perfect for fans of Invincible and X-Men, if you couldn't tell. Nothing can prepare you for the most violent and unpredictable superhero series of the year. So, if Invincible is like 90s Superboy meets Spider-Man, but it's violent, this is 90s X-Men, but it's violent, I guess, right? Because looking at the covers, one of them, let's see if I can do this. I did this one time, so this might mess up the video. Let me see. There we go. So this is a cover of Terminal, if you're watching the video portion. It's a recreation of that famous X-Men title cover, pretty much. They're just in slightly, like an angle has shifted, but like, it's the Jim Lee X-Men cover, right? Like, they're pretty much in the same poses, they're in the same, like, aspect of being pulled back, you know, you can see like the kind of like the cone of importance. There's a giant rat man thing on the front. And then we continue, there's, this looks like it's a reference to like something, fucking X-Force, maybe? Is there an X-Force cover like this or something that Rob Liefeld did? I don't know what these characters are. It's just odd-looking, sort of off-brand X-Men, I guess, is the best way to put it. There's the Liefeld one, which... oh, man. I have decided Rob Liefeld is my mortal enemy now, by the way. He's pissed me off one too many times. Especially when I've been so nice to him on the channel, too. Frank Miller cover looks pretty cool. I always dig Frank Miller's weird art style, and I think the coloring works because it doesn't try to be modern. But that's kind of the genesis of what this is that it's not trying to be modern, but at the same time it is, but it's also trying to just be the comics that what is his name? Robert Kirkman, like, grew up with and has become so infatuated with. Fucking Robert Kirkman is the epitome of, like, not like a comic book nerd, but like an Image fanboy? Like, Invincible's costume is literally the Image eye. You can't get more obsessed with this company than that. And this, it feels like, as an independent comic creator who's currently working on my own pretty much knockoff version of Captain Marvel Shazam, I love the concept of the classic idea of that character, where it's not boy brain in man's body like the films. I love the high concept reality that this child just shifts places with an unknowable being that is, for all intents and purposes, possessing him. Obviously, I can't tell that story as Captain Marvel Shazam, so I tell it through my own version. I respect that. I dig that. I think more people should do that. Do you have a great idea for an X-Men book? Just fucking make your own characters and do it. That's kind of what I did in The Custodians, Agents of Cross. Each book is 50 plus pages, and I have backup stories where I'm just like, here's a fun little idea for a take on, like, the X-Men or something. Boom, there you go. Just because I'm never going to get to work on the X-Men, I'm never going to get to do Jimmy Olsen, so I'm like, well, why don't I just do my own versions? And that's kind of what Kirkman is doing with Terminal. But at the same time, I just don't care, and I don't like this message that he's giving where he... no, actually, Johnny Boy Blaze in the chat says, no, the I stands for invincible. I believe it stands for intellectual, because that is what Robert Kirkman hates to hear. Like, does he truly believe this, or is he so much into just the media presence of selling and being like a businessman that he knows that this would get people talking about it, such as what I'm doing right now? It does piss me off. In a way, not entirely, but I just vehemently disagree with this, especially coming from Robert Kirkman, the guy who wrote The Walking Dead, a book which has a lot of words and is very writer-driven. Who the fuck was reading The Walking Dead for the artwork alone? The gore is cool, sure, but like, he's quoted as saying, I think as things have gotten more writer-driven, things have gotten a bit more intellectual. And when I hear intellectual, I hear boring. That's like a you problem, man. Like, why do you think like, comics aren't just the pictures. Comics aren't just the words. You have to have this beautiful symbiotic relationship with one another to create something that can be beholden upon the mind. These rupturous explosions of color and ink to just become so viscerally put into the brains of the readers. And I don't know if... will Terminal do this? Has anyone read Terminal yet? Because the book came out a month ago, the first issue, and he has plans for it to go up to at least 50. If his little spiel at the beginning of this segment was right. It's upsetting, too, because I guess I could make the same argument against... I have made the same argument against Absolute Batman, a series that I am not a fan of. I understand why people like it. It's a invigorating new take. I respect Scott Snyder a whole lot more than I do Robert Hickman. Fuck, Robert Hickman, god damn it. Robert Kirkman. Scott Snyder feels like he truly cares about a story, even if it's not one that I personally enjoy. I think that's what it is, too, is that when I think of Robert Kirkman, does he care? Because looking at this just kind of reminds me of Dan DiDio, and he made that Frank Miller Presents company. Remember that? I actually met him at a convention a couple years ago in Phoenix, and like bought his prose novel. He signed it to me. I still haven't read it. That's a whole other story. But he made a comic which I thought was neat. It's essentially when girl character is put into the center of a conflict between two violent forces with superhuman abilities. Like, it's pretty much just this fucking concept. It's not an original concept, obviously. That's why plenty of people can do it. But it's giving me flashbacks to that. and that wasn't the best. That felt like your full heart wasn't in the story. And people can tell. Sure, people are still going to be buying stuff. Oh my god, I got to get Terminal number 2, a first edition with the Rob Liefeld variant cover and the sketch cover. You know, there's always going to be those people. And that is that what the audience that they're going for with this? Is that why they're saying this? Is that why they're driving forward so much the 90s aspect of it? Because they want that collector market 2.0 into things. I just... And then again, of course, there's the reference to Chris Claremont, which I think I figured out, but he goes from listing off, first of all, again, Rob Liefeld, Jim Lee, but then also Chris Claremont, alongside a slew of other X-Men writers and artists, as firing all cylinders during the notably controversial phase of the comic book history, which I assume is the 90s. How long did Chris Claremont last on the X-Men comics once, you know, the Image guys took over stuff? I don't think it's that long. So he goes from seemingly referencing I can't say any names, Chris Claremont, as someone he's, like, influenced by, to immediately saying, oh, when stories become too writer-driven, writer-focused, too many words, too much dialogue, blah, 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 it's a bit too intellectual, it's a bit too high concept. I don't want to deal with that. I just want to look at big, dumb pictures. It's like fucking dipshit John Byrne complaining about his time on the X-Men and being like, I don't want to draw characters interacting and talking, I just want to draw fucking underage girls and fights. But I don't know, it just annoyed me, and then I was like, oh, well, this is a couple weeks old, but no one's really brought it up. No one's discussed this yet, at least as far as I know. I didn't do that much research into it. Let's see what's going on in the chat, because I sort of went off on a long rambling monologue. Action-packed for the win. Some would say Stan Lee made a career using other people's characters to tell his own stories in one way or another. Yeah, that's true, and fucking people still do it. You know, any person hired onto Marvel or DC is doing exactly that. It's just that Stan Lee did it in such a bombastic way, and at least outwardly, he did it in a way that made you feel like he cared in some form or fashion for the stories being told. Hello, Ian. Thank you for joining. Ian continues, Kirkman's take on the Transformers has been a massive step down compared to Daniel Warren Johnson's. Bokey Wokey calls him Low Kirk, and Low Kirk you in Lee. Marshy Mallow says the absolute universe is cool, but it's not for me neither. Not for me either. I can't speak. I'm really happy to see people excited about where things are going with it. I agree. Which leads into Tactical J asking, what about Absolute Batman I don't like? I go into it in more detail in my 2 videos on the first 2 volumes of Absolute Batman at the end segments, but it's pretty much just kind of a nothing story. At least those 2 volumes that I read, it's kind of just, how do we get Batman to fight with a crazy reimagined version of the characters who have mouths in their chests. Why does that happen so often? But again, like I said before, Scott Snyder, I really respect him in ways I don't Robert Kirkman. I did it right. Because you can actually feel the passion and the interest and the excitement and, like, the fact that he's getting so many people to actually pick up comic books and become interested in this medium and interested in this method of storytelling and interested in these new zany ideas. I like the ideas. I really like the reimagining. It's just the execution's not for me. Scott Snyder is like the kind of the pinnacle of what I would want like a modern, like, big name comic book guy to be. And I'm not just saying that because he emailed me. He found my email after those Absolute Batman videos and thanked me for covering them, even though they weren't for me. And then he followed me on Instagram. So I'm not just saying that for those reasons. I truly do think he is, like, a great aspiration to look to for how these things should be treated, at least in the level of excitement. I don't really agree with, like, just the outlandish 90s-esque stupid violence and dumb fights and big splash pages and all that, but more so just his invigoration of the medium. Johnny Boy, I might be onto something. I'm pretty sure that recent Absolute Batman sold for like $500,000. What the fuck? No, Ian, this is still the first segment. This is the first topic of the show that I'm still talking about. It's C3F asks what I think of absolute titles like Wonder Woman, Superman, Martian Manhunter. I've only read Wonder Woman. I did it on the channel. I really dig it. I love everything Kelly Thompson does. I think she is a fantastic writer, one of the best currently doing comics currently. I do wonder why they still put her on Absolute Wonder Woman, just because she gets that character so perfectly that they then have to put her on like a weird alternate reality version where she's from hell because Tom King wanted to do her. My eye is twitching. Am I having like a stroke? What is happening? I own the Absolute Superman, haven't read it. Martian Manhunter, I know it's great. Haven't read that one either. Slasher says, I just love the people that act like Batman being stripped of his wealth is some new concept with Batman that's never been done before. Yeah, that was also a big thing that really disappointed me, is that they were like, oh, he's a grounded superhero, but he's also like 7 feet tall and weighs 420 pounds and steals a fucking giant construction truck and somehow retrofits it to be a giant Batmobile that can scrunch. If anyone's interested, I did several months ago a 50,000 subscriber celebration live stream. It was like 8 hours long, where I read through Absolute Batman Volume 1 or something like that for the first time. So hey, there you go. Foxtastic says, Scott Snyder seems really nice, but it thinks the comics are a snooze. Yes, so, you know, some of them I really like, some of them I really don't. Fox continues, every time they read his stuff or watch a Comic Pop episode, plot turns to mush. Yeah. Which, again, is just kind of that things have to be cool, things have to be badass. Like, he just kind of learned the wrong lessons, I think, from Dark Knights. Because I like the first Dark Knights. And then the second one's like, yeah, rock and roll, oh my god, oh, whoa, Batman has a guitar. You know, shit like that, which progressed into Absolute Batman. Echo Visari read Absolute Catwoman, liked it. I didn't even realize there was an Absolute Catwoman, but I would much rather read the original comics and wish they were less confusing. I mean, with original comics, original in this instance, I assume meaning like mainstream. As long as you're aware of the character and you have some way and formulation of context clues, you can kind of just pick up like a trade anywhere. It might not be a good story, but like you can do it. Like one of the, the first like Batman comics I started reading were Scott Snyder's Court of Owls. Like Long Halloween, the vampire one, and the Nightfall trilogy. And I was like, what the fuck is this? What am I reading? What is happening? But I was still like, I was just enraptured by it. So, I think that 30 minutes of me bitching about Robert Kirkman, I think is suffice. So let's move on. This is something insane that leads into the Marvel stuff. I guess I'm gonna reorganize some stuff because this makes more sense, I think. Hold on. So I'm gonna talk about incursions, and then I'll get to some DC stuff, some DCU things, and then the Marvel. So they recently announced, just the past couple days, Incursions: Untold Stories from When Time Ran Out, which is a 5-issue, one-shot limited series of X-Men Incursions, Spider-Man Incursions, Fantastic Four Incursions, X-Men 92 Incursions, and Avengers Incursions. Beginning in November, revisit the cataclysmic days before Secret Wars, bringing iconic Marvel universes together in battles where only one reality can survive. In each one-shot, worlds from the Marvel Universe, Marvel history, collide with only one left standing. How's that gonna work if they're 5? I'm not quite sure. I guess they're not gonna be, they're not pushing into each other. the Fantastic Four and the X-Men 92 aren't gonna be colliding. It's gonna be other stuff. X-Men by Alex Paknadel and Jim Toe. We'll see Days of Future Past Earth incursioned with the House of M reality. Cool. Who could have seen this coming? This is shocking to me that this is the only tie-in event that they have like announced so far for Doomsday, unless there's some fucking... Well, wait, no. There is a Doom event that's coming out around the time of the movie, isn't there? I don't remember what it's called. I don't particularly care, but I can't believe that this is the only like multiversal event that they're doing to tie into the Doomsday story. I guess that's cool. Like, what's gonna happen? We're gonna see, oh my gosh, X-Men 92. Oh my gosh, Days of Future Past X-Men. Who the fuck is on the Days of Future Past X-Men? What the fuck are they gonna do for an incursion, by the way? What, Kitty Pryde is gonna attack House of M Magneto with Wolverine's atomized skeleton? Like, what do you mean? What could possibly happen here? Because both of those planets are exploding. We know they explode because we've read the 2015 book and we've looked at the Secret Wars Battle World map, and I don't think either of those are there. If I know for a fact the X-Men 92 is not a place on Battle World, so it's kaput. Who cares about that? Oh, man. Yeah, okay. Does anyone have anything to say about the Incursions miniseries? Also, it's another miniseries of one-shots. Who cares? So, I should have organized this better. I really should have. I guess I'll talk about this because I kind of did the Marvel thingy. Cailee Spaeny could still join the X-Men's, the Marvel Studios as X-Men. This is something insane that I saw today, and I got really excited because I love Cailee Spaeny. Not only because she's beautiful, not her worth, but also because I think she's just a really great actress. I loved Civil War. I thought she was amazing in that. I need to see Priscilla. I try to forget that she was in Pacific Rim Uprising. I try to forget that whole film ever happened. But I saw this article and I was like, oh my God, what is this? It says exclusive in the title. And I started reading it. And it opens up with this. We at Night Edge Media have heard exclusively that Cailee Spaeny is still speaking with Marvel Studios about appearing as a smaller character with the potential for an expanded role in future films. Night Edge Media? Has anyone ever heard of those 3 words combined in that exact order describing some kind of internet company? So then I went to like the Reddit comments, because this was posted as like a link, you know, an article or whatever. And everyone was like, oh my God, Cailee Spaeny in the MCU, she could be Kitty Pryde. No, Thomasin McKenzie would be the perfect Kitty Pryde, thank you very much. Oh my God, Cailee Spaeny, she could be, what is the Irish woman's name who has 10 lives? Moira McTaggart. You know, it's people like fucking trying to like theorize about this. And I only saw 2 other people bring up the fact that it's from some website called Night Edge Media. So I don't think this is happening. And I just wanted to bring it up in case you see it anywhere else and you get too excited about the fact that Cailee Spaeny might be in the MCU. But that is not the last I'll be discussing the MCU. But first we have to jump to a different CU. See you there. And that is the DCU. I am so excited. I can barely contain myself. I was hyperventilating when I saw James Gunn post this on Threads. I follow a fair amount of accounts on Threads. And the only notifications I get are when people like or like reply or post my things, which doesn't have to happen too often, although fucking my phone kept blowing up because I made some posts about Hadestown that people liked. But the only time I really ever get notifications from Threads is when James Gunn posts. That fucking app tells me as the second he makes a post, it lets me know, and I don't know why. I didn't make any adjustments to the settings. I follow other accounts. It just, for some reason, it blows my phone up with James Gunn posts. Yes, Decky, this is a huge, big news, big day for fans of the channel and for myself. Because James Gunn has officially announced The People versus Gorilla Grodd. This is the new show from DC Studios coming to HBO Max. Our first foray into the true crime genre from the creators of American Vandal, starring Skylar Gisondo as Jimmy Olsen, Jimmy Tatro as Gorilla Grodd, Beck Bennett as Steve Lombard, Michaela Hoover as Cat Grant, Wendell Pierce as Perry White, and additional casts include Mary Holland, Eduardo Franco, Dan Peralt, and Ariane Moyed. Oh my God. I am so excited. Because then, even better, because you know I love world building, they posted it alongside a, little fake Daily Planet, webpage, kind of headline article. Oh man, I'm so excited. The Daily Planet announced today it will begin production on an 8-part documentary series that will dive back into the Metropolis's most infamous murder trial, The People versus Gorilla Grodd. Wait, murder trial, new sentence. The People versus Gorilla Grodd will take a fresh 360-degree look at the case, revealing a lesser-seen side of the hyper-intelligent ape, according to the film's first-time director, Jimmy Olsen. Olsen was granted unprecedented exclusive access to interview Grodd inside Strikers Island Penitentiary for the documentary. This is awesome! I wonder how it's going to work. Is it purely going to be full-on documentary style? Or could they do something like Interview with the Devil, which was a David Dastmalchian film that came out last year that I still haven't seen, but I understand how it works, which is it's a late night talk show when a devil possession happens, but it's filmed from like the TV studio cameras. But then when we go beyond that and like kind of break the wall, the camera aspect ratio changes, things become black and white, and like, the camera gets a bit different in how, like, the quality or whatever. Like, are they going to do something like that? Are we going to see like the actual recordings and then it kind of cuts to like what happened afterward, what happened before? Or is it purely going to be like a mockumentary style production? Either way, I'm excited. I really want to know what happens in this, because the little article thingy continues. Gorilla Grodd has long claimed his innocence in the murder and brain consumption of his father, King Grodd, a crime he was convicted of in March 2021 and has remained incarcerated ever since. The series will take an in-depth look at the investigation, featuring brand new reporting from members of the Daily Planet staff, as well as interviews with witnesses and experts on both Grodd's and the Metropolis District Attorney's side of the case, including Grodd's new counsel at Metropolis Freedom Project. This is quoted from Perry White. Everyone thinks they know Grodd, the power-hungry gorilla who killed his father for the throne of Gorilla City, said Perry White. But once you start to look beneath the fur, you start to realize there's a lot more to that primate. Also, Steve Lombard is a producer. Oh my god, I'm so excited. I love that this isn't just like a regular TV show, because Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen are not regular comic books. This is awesome. This is the perfect way to kind of like bring in the weirdness and wackiness of Jimmy Olsen, because like this is pretty much the premise of like a book. Like, cub reporter Jimmy Olsen gets a job doing blank. Hey, this week he's doing that. Next week he's doing this. It's very much Jimmy taking on these new roles and everything from the original series. And the fact that it's a hyper-intelligent ape who is Gorilla Grodd, 60s Silver Age comics fucking loved putting gorillas on the covers. Now, Grodd, though, he's not my favorite hyper-intelligent ape gorilla. That is reserved for Ultra Humanite, who I've discussed on the podcast several times in the past, and my love of just that fucking insane idea. So Ultra Humanite is not just a super smart gorilla. He's a super smart man whose body was dying, so he put his brain into an albino gorilla. And I fucking love it. I wish that this was Ultra Humanite, because then we could have, like, it would have been so similar to that episode of the Justice League cartoon show where the Flash and Ultra Humanite had to save Christmas or whatever for a bunch of orphans. Who's playing him? What was his name? Jimmy Tatro. I'm gonna use Google to look this up. He's an American actor and YouTuber. There's still hope for me to appear. Who is this? He's the creator and star of YouTube channel Life According to Jimmy. Okay. He was in 22 Jump Street. Who did he... Oh, he was also in Boo, a Medea Halloween movie. Okay. And Stuber. Remember Stuber? Is that Kumail Nanjiani? Yeah, that's what that is. Oh! That's Rooster! From 22 Jump Street! He plays the dumb jock friend of Wyatt Russell from 22 Jump Street. The one that has a red herring tattooed on his fucking arm. That's him. That is who is playing Gorilla Grodd. That's awesome. All right, what's everybody saying in the chat? James merely loaded the gun, says Batboy. Oh, that is good. That should be on the on the cases of every project that James Gunn has worked on when it releases on like Blu-ray or something. Ian says they thought that Lanterns was supposed to be true crime. No, it's like a crime drama. True crime is like what is true crime? How do you describe it? It's like looking back on the crime and discussing it and like researching it, like a true crime podcast. Think of that. Or, Only Murders in the Building. They start a true crime podcast where it's more so just, it's like a documentary about what happened rather than like, Lanterns, or what is that show with Matthew McConaughey? True Detective. I haven't watched it. Batboy says, "Oh my god, they made that 8-episode bullshit canon to the DCU." Oh man. Alex agrees with me that Ultra Humanite was awesome in the DCAU. Boki Woki, don't forget she also put their brain in an actress. Nice. All right. That takes us to the big shebang. You might have seen my commentary highlight reel video posted on Monday about Lanterns Episode 1. I also did a pretty extensive write-up and discussion on the first episode. If you're a Patreon member, you get access to the commentary as well as my write-up review and me talking about the deeper symbolism of the show. I did the exact same thing for Peacemaker, did it for the MCU films as well. But Lanterns Episode 1, starring Kyle Chandler as Hal Jordan and Aaron Pierre as John Stewart. Wow. I fucking loved it. I thought this was an incredible first episode. I was blown away at how much I enjoyed it because I had my reservations. I figured it would be a good show. I just didn't know if it'd be for me. Particularly because of the whole, well, we got rid of the green part of Lanterns because that sounds childish and, comic booky, and this is a serious adaptation, blah, blah, blah. That, the fucking showrunner, whoever said before the show came out, I was like, oh, that kind of put a sour taste in my mouth. But then I watched it, and I didn't want it to end. I loved it. Kyle Chandler is, the perfect casting choice for Hal Jordan. Just imagine if we had gotten him 20 years prior, or if he was 20 years younger, we could have had in his prime Hal Jordan, where he's, I don't know what Hal Jordan's doing. I've really only read the 60s Silver Age Green Lantern and Green Lantern Mosaic. That's really where my interests in Green Lantern end, for the most part, is the Silver Age era. I have never read the Jeff Johns version. So I can't say any. I've watched the Comic Pop videos, if that counts. But Kyle Chandler's fantastic in the role. His voice is pretty much what I have always imagined Hal to sound like when I read the comics, or read any of his appearances in the comics. And Aaron Pierre is fucking equally as strong casting as John Stewart. Both actors seem to genuinely understand their characters and who their characters are and how they act and what they do and, what they can really provide to us, the audience, in this adaptation. And I go into this in the aforementioned Patreon post, but there's always this enormous amount of anxiety whenever a comic book adaptation changes something. But adaptations aren't meant to replace source material. They're not supposed to replace the source material. There are nearly 70 years of Green Lantern comics that still exist. They don't just disappear because the show or the movie changes something. The problem with adaptations, because this is obviously a thing people are going to be complaining about because of what happens at the end. Spoiler alert, by the way, if you haven't watched, wait 10, 15 minutes or however long it takes me to keep talking about this, or skip ahead. So there's some changes, yes. Something happens. But the problem isn't adaptations changing things. The problem is treating adaptations as the ultimate version of the character or the story. Same thing happened when the Dark Tower movie came out. Same thing happened with the It movies. Those are two big ones that I really, come to my mind just because I'm such a big Stephen King fan. And I remember the discourse around those pictures. with people acting like this has ruined the book. Like, the book still exists. I understand, because I'm a huge fan of this stuff. I understand wanting to see the elements that you love come to fruition as this, like, reality. But why is that treated as, like, this ultimate end goal for X character or Y story? Like, why is the adaptation always the thing that makes people freak out and really get excited? And there's, I'm sure, a plethora of reasons you could bring up. I'm sure there's plenty. You could make like a fucking college thesis about that, about how movies are a passive form of entertainment. You don't really have to put any thought into them further than what you're watching on screen. You don't have to analyze it. You don't have to, unlike a book or a comic, you don't have to interact with it any more than select it, buy a ticket for it, sit down and watch it. Whereas with a novel or a comic, you are actively taking interest in this thing. You are actively engaging with the story. You are actively flipping the pages and hearing the voices in your head. If you do that, some people don't. But that is all to say, I really like what they did with this version of the characters. I really think this is fantastic. It is really interesting that we're getting this, like, grittier side of the DCU already. So we got this, and then Clayface is coming out, but we also have, on the opposite end of the spectrum is like Superman, and, like, I don't know, somewhere in the middle is Peacemaker, the seasons of Peacemaker, which is like gritty yet still cartoonish and hopeful. I'm sure this will really change as the show progresses. One of the changes in this adaptation that I really do like was Hal's loneliness. I bring it up in the highlight video where I say something like, how excited do you think Damon Lindelof was when he thought, I got the perfect character trait for Green Lantern Hal Jordan. I'll make him jaded. So that was really fun. But Hal Jordan's loneliness is something they bring up like once or twice. Like it's alluded to, and then someone or two, I can't remember who says it. I feel like a woman character says something about him being lonely or whatever, something like that. But here's the metaphor that I used in my review on the Patreon. Hal is a man who finds corks and plugs to fill the holes of his life. And what better method to stopping the leaks from reaching the surface and pouring out entirely than a ring that can make endless corks and plugs? It's very clear, I think, that he kind of uses the ring as this coping mechanism, as a way to keep himself endlessly busy, to ensure that he doesn't have to stop and think about things and really, focus on who he is as a person and, like, what does he want out of life and etc. et al. On the other end, we also have hints of imposter syndrome from Jon Stewart, which is really cool because that is something he's experienced in the comics. He almost kills himself because he fails so spectacularly. Like, early on in his Green Lantern career, he puts a space gun to his head. But those are elements and aspects that I'm really looking forward to, is just seeing how Damon Lindelof and the other writers of this show delve into, like, the psyches of these characters and what it means to not have fear. Like, what do you mean you have so much, like, willpower and no fear and all this? Like, what does that mean as a human to have that? Like, are humans supposed to be elevated to the point where this cosmic fucking space ring created by a bunch of tiny blue people connects to them? What would you, how would you interact with someone that you met where you knew that they had ultimate willpower and just, like, didn't get afraid? Like, what does that even mean? Like, no fear. Don't be afraid. But how? How are you doing that? And I imagine the show is going to look a little deeper into just what it means to be a Green Lantern. Speaking of what it means to be a Green Lantern, obviously the elephant in the room is the bowl-cutted elephant standing over there in the corner, and his name is Guy Gardner. My theory is that Guy Gardner's ring is not an actual Green Lantern ring. It doesn't behave the same way as Hal's. It doesn't look the same as what he uses in, like, the constructs. Guy's is like a hard light construct. Hal's is like this cool kind. They look like candy almost when they're like, and they're also created out of like a light sand or something. It's like, what if Maxwell Lord and Lord Tech, the funder of the Justice Gang, made Guy Gardner's ring, and that becomes a point of contention. I can't speak. Something's happening to me. Boki Woki says they like how they implemented the sci-fi part in the show. Yeah, it's really well done how they kind of meld these elements together with the tone down on Earth, but also the fact that they are Green Lanterns. Earth is the Detroit of the galaxy by DC Universe standards. Yeah, I'd also like that reveal too, that Earth is just some fucking backwater planet that no one cares about. Unless Darkseid shows up, then some things might happen. Mellow Marshy. Does it require more willpower to feel no fear at all, or to feel great fear, but to push yourself to overcome it? Give your fear the finger. The ring finger! I should have... I'm married. Why didn't I do this hand? Anyone listening, I flipped off the camera, but with my ring finger. That is a great question. I would say it requires more willpower to still be afraid, but push through it. A quote that still sticks into my mind all these decades later is from the incredible film Small Soldiers, and it's spoken by Commander Chip Hazard, played by Tommy Lee Jones, where, if you're unaware, it's about toys that come to life and they try to kill humans, but it's awesome. And it's far more well done than it sounds. They kidnap a girl, one of the main characters, and they're tying her up because she comes across their evil doings where they're bringing Barbie dolls to life and outfitting them with fucking blade hands and weird cybernetic stuff from items they found around the house. But they fucking put a gag in her mouth, and she's just sitting there so afraid. And this little toy gets right in her face, and he goes, "Are you scared? We're all scared. You'd have to be crazy not to be scared." And ever since then, that has just always stuck in my mind as just, what a cool line. How does that relate to what Mellow Marshy said? You figure it out. Alex Not Alex asks what I think of Supergirl. It's a solid 3 out of 5 for me. I liked it more than I'm sure a lot of people did, but it still wasn't the best. I've brought it up a couple times. People keep asking me on these live episodes. I loved the actors in it. I don't know if the material was the best for them. I wish that it had been a better movie, or I wish that I had enjoyed it more. But I don't hate it or anything. I love Millie Alcock, and I think she's a great Kara Zor-El. I wasn't a fan of the changes they made to the original story. And I already have the Blu-ray on pre-order, so I can, in my spare time, one of my hobbies is making fan edits of movies, so I will be doing that. C3F asks if I plan on covering Ultimate Comics X-Men. Yes, I do plan on getting back into the Ultimate Universe. Just like I plan on getting back into the Lanterns discussion, because Hal Jordan is dead! Or is he? Oh, is he dead? At the end of the first episode, it seems like he is. I told you there was going to be spoilers. Don't get mad at me. The episode establishes 4 things. Let me put on my deer stalker cap and get my corncob pipe. for this conspiracy, I don't think Hal's dead. Well, that Hal is dead. I don't think the dead Hal is actually Hal. Because, one, John establishes there are John and Hal establish there are 14 alien species capable of disguising themselves as humans. That is followed up by point 2, which is the species have technologies that make them essentially undetectable by human technology, or they have something genetic sequencing systems that allow these body swaps or whatever to happen. Excuse me. And make them just totally undetectable. He lists off like, X-rays and whatever else that they might be scanning for. Just doesn't work. Shows a normal human being. 3, the disguised aliens that we see throughout the episode, mostly all dead on a football field, they apparently bleed like a regular human body would and sustain injuries like a regular human would. And 4, nothing about the bodies necessarily proves that the dead person isn't human. It's not like they have purple blood or their intestines spill out and they start glowing like glowworms or something. Like there's no clear giveaway. And we are given all of that evidence fairly early on in the episode. And why would we see all that if not to establish some footing in our mind that Hal isn't dead? I think Hal is, he faked his own death because someone's after him, the Manhunters maybe, whatever they are. I still don't understand, because in the trailer they look like they shapeshift, but that is not a thing they do in the comics. They're robot guys. And when one is shapeshifting, it kind of has an X across its back, much like Martian Manhunter's weird suspenders. But I have other questions. Why does Hal have such a connection to Rushville? Right? Like, it feels like it has to matter to him for some point or some reason to have a copy of himself from 10 years prior? 2006 is when he would have made it, to alert him that hail is falling in Rushville or whatever the hologram says. And the episode seems to very deliberately connect Hal emotionally to this town, because he then goes and, like, as soon as John tells him the message from the hologram, boom, he takes off. Why? Is it possible that there's something there, or someone in Rushville that has been keeping Hal emotionally grounded? A spouse or a significant other? Is it a kid? Maybe Rushville, going back to my other metaphor about Hal using the ring to plug the leaks of his psyche, maybe Rushville is the thing that plugs the leak for Hal. Maybe there's someone there who fills a severe hole in the life of Hal Jordan. And then there's a quote specifically from Hal, which is said at the Mexican restaurant on the side of the road, when the proprietor is asking him why he doesn't wear the super suit anymore. Hal says, quote, "It's like when you're young and eager and you like to prove yourself, so you wear a tie so people take you seriously. But when you get older and wiser," and he looks over to John, "you realize ties are a pain in the ass." Now, I might be misremembering, but I'm pretty sure he puts a little bit of extra emphasis on the word ties. Like, not the thing you wear around your neck, but having ties to someone, to something, to someplace. Is that anything? I hope so, because I really need a win, guys. Especially after Peacemaker Season 2 came out and I theorized that Rick Flag of the Ultimate Universe was the evil Nazi Superman, and that never happened. I really need a win here on my theories. And then the Spider-Man stuff never happened. I don't think I've ever gotten a single thing right. Boki Woki says Hal's dead and Tom King killed him. Alex says he hopes that Millie Alcock is back in Man of Tomorrow. I bet she is. That cast is going to be stacked, and I am looking forward to it. Ian, my guess is hail is falling is some code phrase meaning aliens are invading. Yeah, I think that's what the gist is, but like, why? Hal went there in 2016, was infected, and is now turning into Parallax. That would be fucking insane. That would be crazy nutso psycho. I'm trying to figure out why Sinestro's in the trailer. Like, why did they go to Sinestro? Is that in the present or is that in the past? And also, there's a very specific scene in the trailer where Sinestro first appears. If you search like DCU Lantern Sinestro, it might come up. It's where Sinestro's kind of like angled like this, and he looks so much like Donald Trump. It's insane how much he looks like Trump in that fucking trailer. Or at least that scene. The Shy Samurai. Supergirl was inventive in parts and surprisingly bland in others. Yeah, which is such a shame, too, because it should have done so much better. It should have been such a great movie. It should have been a fucking standout film. And I'm sure for a lot of people it was, especially young girls or just women fans of comic books and comic book movies. And fans of Supergirl. But it's such a dark film. Just visually. That's a huge issue I have with Supergirl. It's such a visually dark film. It's so fucking ugly to look at. It's so brown and dark. And then when you look at the comic, it's, oh my god, it's one of the most beautifully colored books of the past, 10, 15 years. My wife and I both had the issue where we were getting tired in the theater because it was so dark. I was like, oh man, can we get some sunlight, please? Ian theorizes that there's some alien war criminal hiding on Earth. Maybe Sinestro knows something about it. Good chance he was involved in the conflict before betraying the Green Lantern Corps. Oh, maybe. Maybe, Quard? The Quardians might? I don't know, maybe them. Those are the biggest Green Lantern villains that I can think of. Because again, Silver Age. Those are the weird winged. They're not hawk people, like Hawkman or Hawk Girl, but they are hawk themed. Like they're the anti-universe's version of the hawk people, I guess. I don't fucking know. The war bearer. What are they called? The war makers, the weapons makers, something like that. Like they make weapons and shit. They're a bunch of weird little psychos that live in another universe. They freak me out every time they show up. Alex thought the main villain of Supergirl, Creme of the Yellow Hills, was boring. Yeah. I really like the weird fantasy pirate aspect of the comic, but I also do dig the weird gimpness of Creme in the movie. I think it's a cool look. The character really doesn't get much to do to establish he's a threat outside of killing that girl's brother and family, and yeah. yeah. Let's move on. Let's talk about D23. The thing I was originally going to talk about, mostly, before I got into a tirade about Robert Kirkman. Now I can say it. So, first of all, I'm so excited for the new Simpsons movie. We got the official logo. It is called The New Simpsons Movie, so they are getting ahead of the curve with that. They're not calling it Simpsons Movie 2, because then people would still call it The New Simpsons Movie. It's much like how Disney announced Villains Land is going to be a thing at Walt Disney World, because that's kind of what everybody was already calling it, and much like Batuu and Galaxy's Edge, people are still going to call that Star Wars Land, so why not beat the crowd? The new Simpsons movie. They showed a snippet of a scene, I don't know how long it was, like maybe a minute or two, of a baseball game being played in Springfield via the Springfield Isotopes against like the LA Dodgers or something. And it's a fun opening. I assume this is the opening of the film, because it really feels like it. It'd be weird if this was in the middle of the movie. where Homer's trying to get a ball, and then it's like a chase across Springfield, and it's, look at all these characters you know and love. I wasn't really a fan of it. If you want to see a high-resolution video of it, I know the Simpsons man on YouTube has a copy that he uploaded, so you can get a good view of everything. But I don't know. I'm very excited for the movie. I love The Simpsons. I still do. I really dig these last couple seasons. Ooh. But you can also see, all the DVDs and the Blu-ray and everything up here. I don't know. It just didn't really do much for me. This felt too goofy, I guess. I don't know. I wasn't really a big fan. I'm looking forward to it. I'm very excited for it. I got to go to Universal last year for the first time in like 15 years. And mainly because I really wanted to go to the Simpsons land, to Springfield. See, I just did it, Simpsons land. I really want to go to Springfield before Universal loses the rights to the Simpsons in a couple of years. And, Disney takes it and then does nothing with it. But yeah, it's just a prolonged scene of just fun little goofs and gags and like physical comedy of Homer and like the denizens of Springfield chasing after this like fly ball or whatever. It's just a ball that goes into the stands. And yeah, it's all right. It's okay. What's everybody saying in the comments? I see a couple of things. Ian likes how in outer space they have planetary bus stops. Yes, that's a lot of fun. I also like Seth Rogen's little guy from Supergirl. Jake Johns. It's ironic how Kirkman says that, but made Marvel zombies? Yeah, that's sure. That's true. Boki Woki. I don't know much about The Simpsons, but I like that there's going to be a 2D animation film in theaters. I agree, especially after the reveal of the Bluey movie, where it's 3D animated. I assume that is because Disney saw how much fucking money Nickelodeon and Paramount made with the SpongeBob movies, because those are weirdly 3D CGI animated, and it looks weird. I was a weird kid who, even when the Simpsons movie came out, and even as a kid, I was obsessed with the Simpsons. I was like, oh, this is weird looking. There's extra shading. That, like, the SpongeBob movie. So I wonder, like, how kids are reacting. I assume probably, like, the majority of, like, kids who are fans of the Bluey movie probably aren't, like, gonna be caring enough. Or, like, process the thoughts. What age is Bluey for? Bluey's for any age. How many adults are going to the Bluey movie, by the way? But yeah, that's really fantastic that we do get a 2D animated feature film, which is The Simpsons, and I love the thing, like the animatic of the clip and seeing like the hand drawn stuff. That was really cool to see. I have a note on here about the M&Ms, and I guess I'll show them to you if I can find them. I thought this would be funny to talk about, but now I don't know. And now I've brought it up, so I can't, like, not bring it up. But, like, the M&Ms were at D23. The candy. Mars chocolate. Can I find these anywhere? I'm gonna have to go to a specific Instagram account to find it. So, let's see if I can share my screen again. So, here is the green M&M as She-Hulk. I don't know why. I don't know what this is for. We also have the blue M&M as Daredevil. And I should note that each of them are holding a clapboard with the word audition, and then, green as She-Hulk, blue as Daredevil. Is this worth it? Is this something I should have brought up? This is Marvel and D23. So yeah, there's Daredevil. There's the blue one as Daredevil. We got brown M&M as Yelena. and she's doing the superhero land, which is weird because Yelena historically hates that as a concept. It was pretty hot though. Does the brown M&M just have eyeglasses? Is that a thing of her? Is that a character trait of hers? Orange M&M, that little weirdo. He is Red Guardian. And his eyebrows are outside of his helmet, and he has a fake beard, but it has fallen off. I don't know. Red Guardian, I don't know. Red M&M, of course, is Daredevil, or not Daredevil, is Deadpool. And he looks weird. He is the one where, like, the white limbs of the M&M characters really, I feel, gets brought to the forefront. Does this make anyone else uncomfortable looking at the red M&M as Deadpool? Because, like, he's also not wearing clothes. He's naked. He's just his normal M&M thing, but he has, like, the black things around his eyes and the belt and the katanas. There's something, and also he's laying down seductively. That adds an element to it. Let's continue the video. Purple M&M. I didn't even know that was a thing. She looks like a peanut, maybe? Peanut M&M is a purple one. A peanut? She's kind of the same shape. She is, for some reason, Electra? Are she and the blue M&M a couple? And then, of course, we get the best one, which is the yellow M&M as Wolverine. And the yellow M&M looks very confused to be involved in any way with this weird M&M Marvel crossover. Was that worth it? Did you guys like that? Did I lose viewers? I actually somehow gained viewers during the M&M segment. Hello, Viddy. Thank you for joining during the M&M segment. I agree. Well, I don't know. Which one do you think? Who was the hottest M&M? Let me know in the chat in the comments. All right, so let's actually get into something people want to talk about, and that is Ahsoka Season 2 teaser trailer and release date was revealed. This will be premiering January 20th on Disney+, of course. I finally watched the teaser trailer right before I started the podcast, and oh my gosh, am I excited. I truly loved Ahsoka Season 1. I thought it was fantastic. I enjoyed the story. I loved Baylan Skoll as a character. He is my favorite Star Wars character now. I just truly loved Ray Stevenson's rendition, portrayal of the character. I think he's a great actor. He's my favorite Punisher, but I thought he was utterly fantastic. He stole pretty much everything, every scene he was in. I loved him, and Shin Hati, as his, his Padawan, kind of his sidekick, his student. This one looks fucking insane. This looks like an insane trailer. How are they doing this? How is this happening in a TV show? There's a fucking, like, Thrawn is back, and he amasses a new army of both, like, Imperial remnants and also the Night Sisters. Whatever remain, however they're doing that, magic, I guess. They're bringing them back from the dead after Grievous and the Confederacy killed most of them. And they're waging war on the New Republic, and they're fucking them up. I really do not want this to be resolved in this one season. Please, Dave Filoni, don't. I'm pretty sure there's a Disney Plus movie. Was that a thing? Did they cancel that for Star Wars? That would seemingly be like the compilation of Mandalorian, Ahsoka, Boba Fett. Definitely not Andor. Coming together as, this adaptation of Heir to the Empire. Heir to the Empire? Is that what it's called, right? This looks so cool. I am so excited to see this. And, Sabine and Ahsoka are still trapped in that whole other universe, or galaxy, rather. I'm so excited to see this. And it comes out like a couple days after my birthday, so that's really cool, too. So it's like I'm getting a birthday gift from Dave Filoni. Oh man, yeah, it just looks so cool. Visually spectacular as well. So like the space dogfights look incredible. It just looks. I love this like weird kind of ancillary element of the Star Wars franchise. Like this, Ahsoka really feels like what I loved about the EU of Star Wars, which is like, obviously Thrawn and like these side stories with just, I don't know, I truly don't know how to put it into words what I love so much about the Ahsoka show. It's just a really cool, zany out there idea, but it still feels like Star Wars. It doesn't feel like it's like the you guys are gonna have to help me on the name. What are the weird the alien invaders from Star Wars that destroy half the galaxy? They've been reintroduced kind of in the canon as the Grisk or something, or maybe they're not the Grisk. What are they called? They fly on giant space whales that they turn into like cybernetic beings. They're kind of like the Chitauri, or I guess the Chitauri are kind of like them. What the fuck are they called? God, what are they? Racking my brain to remember. Like, it's not something like that, because I never liked them. That is fucking ridiculous. They felt more in line in, like, Star Trek. Yuzong Vong. Thank you very much, Ian. That is what they're called. The Yuzong Vong. I never liked that as a concept. Hot take, maybe? But, like, I don't know. This just feels like it's the right amount of weird new elements, but it's still Star Warsy. It's still Star Warsy. That's what I have to say about Ahsoka Season 2 trailer. What are you guys talking about in the comments? I see a lot of you talking about M&Ms being sexy or something. What's happening here? The yellow M&M is definitely the hottest because being voiced by J.K. Simmons as C3F. That's true. Shy Samurai brings up a rumor that the new Simpsons movie will act as a finale. I don't think so. I'm pretty sure they have been renewed for a couple more years, at least. I don't think that's a thing. Although I brought this up last week. Expect a video probably sometime next year about The Simpsons, because I plan on going through, hopefully I can get this done, going through every season of The Simpsons up to the first movie and doing like a curated kind of viewing list of like, here's how you can watch The Simpsons with a definitive ending, that being the first movie. And I've kind of done like a test run of it, because I want to do a commentary of each episode too, because I think that'd be fun. But it works pretty well. It feels emotional. It feels like you're actually watching people grow, because, the seasons leading up to the movie, those immediate ones beforehand, they're not the best. But you can still see some like actual growth in terms of character. It's a neat concept that I hope works. It's an experiment I'm planning. There was also Ryan Gosling appeared on stage, of course, with our good old friend Sean Levy to promote Star Wars Starfighter, where Ryan Gosling will be playing Cade Oberon. That is a great Star Wars name. This Star Wars story is firmly rooted in character brought to life by these amazing actors, Sean Levy said, and all within an adventure that's filled with humor, danger, spectacle, and the joyous spirit that has been beating the heart of this 50-year legacy that we all love so much. Man, even his, like, corporate speeches are boring. Not a fan of Sean Levy. He's a competent director, but no style, which makes me worried for Ghost Rider. Hopefully he gets a new cinematographer. And then the final Star Wars thing was a Lego Star Wars Mandalorian special, which looks truly awful. I really like the last couple Lego Star Wars specials that they did. I like the Halloween one at Jabba's or whatever. I like the summer one with like Rey and Finn. There was another one they did, I think. They were fun. I liked it. I also like the Lego animated movies where like they can move their limbs like they're little noodles, and they're not like the Lego movie was. This one, for some reason, does the latter. This takes influence from the Lego movie for some reason, even though none of the other Lego Star Wars movies have done this. For some reason, they move like the Lego movie. Why? Why did they decide to change it now? Is it because they just didn't want to bother because seemingly the Lego Mandalorian special is just... I had her name, but then I forgot it. The woman with the big hair who lives on Tatooine and operates the spaceport. It's just her, like, recounting the events of, like, the first 3 seasons in the movie, I guess? Who cares? People in the chat are not happy with Miguel from Coco's haircut, I see. All right, here we are, only an hour and a half in. We are now talking about Marvel, ladies and gentlemen. Marvel. X-Men. X-Men is set to release May 5th, 2028. 5 X-Men? 5. Can you tell that I didn't have the railroad track laid out when I started talking? Sadie Sink. This is fun also, by the way, because I did live stream last week. Totally forgot that they were showing off anything Marvel. Wasn't expecting this, that's for sure. And then, of course, like an hour after I got off the live stream, they then do all this. I could have been right there alongside Nando V Movies in his live streamed reactions of D23, but I was tired. I wanted to go to bed. And that was a 3-hour-long live stream last week. So, Sadie Sink. Jean Grey? I already knew that. That'd be weird if it wasn't. I mean, imagine that. Kit Connor is officially Cyclops. Kit Connor, who the fuck is that again? Even though I talked about him exactly a week ago, I haven't seen a single thing he's been in. I've seen Ready Player One. And Rocket Man. That's right, he's Rocket Man. He's Little Rocket Man. Kit Connor, renowned actor known for Little Rocket Man and Reb Kid in Ready Player One. He's also in the Elden Ring movie that's coming out in 2 years. Are there any shows? Yeah, there's no shows I recognize him from. Christopher Abbott as Professor X. I gotta look him up. Who the fuck is that again? What does he look like? Was he Wolfman? Was he the Wolfman? Do I recognize? Yeah, he was Wolfman. They named Wolfman Blake? Why did no one tell me that Wolfman's main character was named Blake? Then I definitely would have watched it because I'm a huge narcissist. Oh my god, he was in Kraven the Hunter? Do I recognize anything this guy's been in? I don't. I do not. Yeah, I don't know who this is. But hey, I trust Marvel casting. Is the same woman who has done the casting for Marvel, is she still in charge of it? I can't remember her name, but like, you know, she's the one who cast Chris Evans, she cast Robert Downey Jr., she cast like all the greats. Did she quit or like did someone else come on for the casting? Because she was fantastic. Samara Weaving as Emma Frost. I was about to look her up, but you know, I mean I could, but I'm not gonna do that on camera. Indy Navarrete is Navarrete. Now that's too Italian. Indy Navarrete is Rogue, of course. She is from Obsession, a film that I'm now gonna have to watch. Was this casting? Is this a stunt casting to get more people to watch Obsession? Maya Boyd is like I was gonna say the big one, but no, the big one's Adam Driver. Maya Boyd, I think, is like the surprise cast because much like Daisy Ridley when she was cast in Star Wars, she's a pretty unknown actress. She's mostly done Broadway stuff. She was in Merrily We Roll Along, which I've only seen the film version of it, but it was really cool. I liked it. I don't know what else she's in. She played Juliet in a Broadway show. She's really pretty. Not her worth, though. And I love that they did cast someone who's unknown. They didn't go with one of those stupid, like, fan casts where I don't even know who was being fan casted as Storm. I honestly, I don't know. But I really like that. I love that about The Force Awakens, that, you know, they cast Daisy Ridley and John Boyega and Oscar Isaac. Oscar Isaac was, like, the one who, you know, probably had the most name behind him, but, like, even then it wasn't much. Obviously, they didn't do that with the whole cast because, well, I guess Indy Navarrete is relatively unknown. She hasn't been in much. Then, of course, we get to Adam Driver, and this is where my theorizing begins to take place. Adam Driver is also in the cast. He appears on the screen. He's like, hey, guys, well, I thought we were getting things started pretty early, so I went to Pinewood Studios. And then the camera pans back. Here I am. Why? These people are actors. Why can they not act their way through this fucking corporate spiel that a team of writers made for them to try and seem funny? Here's my theory about who Adam Driver's playing. Because at first, you know, he goes, oh, I'm playing and I'm happy to announce that I'm going to be Magneto. Oh, wait, no, sorry. Nathaniel Milbury. And then, you know, it cuts. Nathaniel Milbury. That is not a character that has ever existed. Nathaniel is the first name of Mr. Sinister. Nathaniel Essex. But my theory is that he is not going to be playing Mr. Sinister. He is going to be a clone of Mr. Sinister that is a guy named Nathaniel Milbury. Maybe he's some kind of businessman. Maybe he's like a government agent or a contractor, perhaps. I think it would be cool if this takes influence from the U-Men concept from New X-Men and the whole Sublime thing, where in the comics, Sublime is this weird organic, like, genetic, like, bacteria that takes the form of a man and tries to kill mutants or whatever. But that's mostly me just really hoping that this new era of X-Men is based on Grant Morrison's New X-Men, just because I love that run. I love the fact that it's actually a functioning school. Something we have not seen in any of the X-Men movies. Sure, we get a couple scenes here and there. We get to see Jubilee in what, X-Men 2, I think she cameos in during a class. But then the fucking mansion gets blown up. I really hope the mansion doesn't get blown up. Here's the little write-up for Mr. Sinister's Wikipedia page. Quote, through the years, Mr. Sinister became one of the greatest geneticists to have ever lived, skilled in cloning, creating new life, and even in the manipulation of mutant DNA for enhancing powers, incorporating mutant DNA to his own. Ooh. Do we think we're gonna see chalk white Adam Driver with a gem in his forehead? What if they adapt the ultimate Mr. Sinister? Ooh, I'm hoping that the views start racking up on that video. That would be nice. Also, here's a stupid theory I had. What if Sinister wants Rogue's abilities? Ooh, what if Rogue, played by Indy Navarrete, I keep doing like the Italian thing, Indy Navarrete, is what if she's the audience surrogate character? What if we follow Rogue through like the opening of the movie? And maybe she stole someone's life and killed somebody, so she's been on the run for a little while now. She's all alone on the road by herself. She's at like a truck stop or something. I don't know. She runs into the X-Men at like a truck stop or like a train station or something. I don't know. I'm just brainstorming here. And then it's revealed that Mr. Sinister, or Nathaniel Milbury, Mr. Milbury, if you will, he wants Rogue for her powers. He wants her to take her powers for himself, because that would make, manipulation of mutant DNA a lot easier. And also, maybe he puts her, I don't know, maybe he puts her into some kind of device. Maybe he wants to put her into a device and steal her powers. Or maybe he has a machine that is going to send out powers, or more likely, suck powers in. And perhaps he puts the machine at, like, I don't know, the top of something high. The top of something high in a very populated area. Maybe Abraham Lincoln's top hat in the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. And then we have a big fight at the top where they're climbing over Lincoln or whatever to stop him. And he tries to do it, but the X-Men stop him just in the nick of time. And it also happens at night, and maybe there's fireworks. Is there fireworks, I think? Because there's like a celebration going on nearby. And that's why Mr. Sinister planned to do it. Maybe that'll happen. Or do you think Nathan... Do you think Nate Milbury is going to have any knowledge of like Scott Summers and Jean Grey? You think that's going to be an aspect of it? I wonder how this movie's going to work, by the way. I feel like it's going to open with like, maybe we're following Jean. I think it would be cool if we follow Jean first. And then, Professor X finds her shortly after the events of Spider-Man Brand New Day. How are they going to do that, by the way? I guess that wouldn't make sense. Unless Secret Wars, here's the wrench of it all, is that Secret Wars just fucks everything up. Unless it ends with, like, Reed Richards or whoever the good guy is at the end that saves everything. Unless he, like, reverts time, which is what happens, now that I'm thinking about it. That is what happens in the Secret Wars event, which is they reverse everything to, like, the moment before it actually happened, so the incursion doesn't happen, but, like, when the universe is recreated, it's, like, seconds before it would have happened. Does that make sense? Yeah, that's all to say, how the fuck are they... How's Jean joining the X-Men? Either you have her join, and then we get, like, a cool montage, maybe, or, like, some kind of interesting setup, and, like, how they continue, and how they form the school and the X-Men, blah, blah, blah. Maybe it's already been established. Maybe this is the opening class. I really hope it's not. Or we just kick it off, and fucking Jean's already part of the X-Men. Who cares? Alex asks, why does my Adam Driver impression sound like Nick Cage? Hey, don't worry about it. Adam Driver's a pretty hard impression to do. I can do him kind of yelling, because he talks like this! He gets very upset when he yells. It puts a lot of enunciation. What do you mean it sounds like Nick Cage? The Bat Boy asks, do I think Xavier's school students get FAFSA? Does FAFSA, which is, for anyone unaware, that's like the American financial aid for college. Well, one, does it count as like a college? And two, did like private schools get that? Hello, Internet. Welcome to Crack Theory, says Pokey. Thank you very much. Yeah, so that's really what I have to say about X-Men. The Avengers Doomsday trailer was shown. It's the exact same trailer that they premiered at SDCC. So if you've already seen that one through the leaks, you can watch it at a high resolution. I've already discussed it a couple weeks ago, so I'm just going to skip past this. It's a far better trailer than the first one, because the first one was purely to show general audiences, hey, X-Men are back. Vision Quest trailer was released. The series follows a rebooted Vision, played by Paul Bettany, as he searches for new meaning, consulting with AI personas embedded in his programming, including Spader's Ultron, and crossing paths with a mysterious boy named Thomas Shepard, who for some reason has an English accent. Even though his brother doesn't. That's interesting. How's that gonna work? Yes, cool, you did just miss the X-Men casting discussion. It was a lot of me trying to figure out how to pronounce Indy Navarrete's last name. I think that was a good one. And it's a lot of me just being a freak about Adam Driver and who he's playing. Vision Quest? This might be my favorite Disney Plus show. For, like, Marvel, right? Oh my god, it looks so cool. It looks so... I'm getting a lot of, Legion vibes from it. It looks so well done. It looks so creative, is really what it boils down to. It looks out of the box. And I am so excited to see how this plays out. I love Ultron, by the way. If you haven't seen my previous discussions talking about just my love of Ultron as a concept and a character, man, he's great. I have a couple of shorts on the channel. If you want to search up Ultron, that'll pop up. Oh, I can't wait. And then, I'm so excited because For some reason. I guess it makes sense because he inhabited Jarvis, but like I never realized that the dummy and then the other one, the you and dummy, which are like the robot arms that have like little Muppet kind of robot faces, that Tony Stark had. Some of my favorite little guys from the Marvel Universe. I'm so glad they're back, and I imagine that they're going to be silent characters who have some kind of like Abbott and Costello relationship. Like I'm really hoping that you and dummy, excuse me, are going to be like, hey, it's those two guys. Like, they don't say a word because they didn't talk in the movies. Maybe one of them will have the dummy hat that he can put on, like when the other one makes fun of him. I'm really looking forward to them. I can't remember who the other AI was. Is it Friday? Is that who it was? Or I think it's Friday. I'm pretty sure Friday is the female voice. She's the one from like Age of Ultron. Or, well, no. Civil War. There you go. Because Jarvis, well, no, was she in Age of Ultron? I can't remember. I can't recall. No, she wouldn't be, because Jarvis becomes fucking Vision at the very end of the movie. That blew me away, by the way, because I either didn't realize it or like I totally forgot that Vision, did they even show Vision in the trailer? For that, like the first trailer? If they didn't, then I never saw it, and it blew me away that Vision became a thing in that movie. And then as it was happening, I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But in the theater, it's like, holy shit, they're doing the Vision? This just looks phenomenal. This looks so good. This looks, like I said, truly creative. And like it feels like an actual like artistic piece of entertainment and not a project. That also reminds me, I almost skipped something. And that is Marvel's essential projects to watch before Avengers Doomsday. That makes me sick to my stomach, referring to these as projects. I don't like that. That's like the CEO of McDonald's calling the slab of meat in between two buns a product, right? It's very similar to that. Batboy, thanks for the birthday head sketches, brother. It's great finally supporting comics. Oh, that was you who bought those, Batboy? Thank you so much. I'm glad you got them. Those were a lot of fun to do. Cool. Will I watch Agatha All Along? Yeah, maybe. I never finished it. So that's the main thing. Even though I loved the show, we kind of just paused watching it, and then we just didn't get back into it. But yeah, the Marvel, this past Sunday posted essential projects to watch before Avengers Doomsday, and they are as follows. Unshockingly, it's pretty much every character we saw in this new trailer, or both trailers, with the exception of Deadpool and Wolverine. X-Men, X2, because of Nightcrawler. Captain America the First Avenger, because of Steve Rogers. The Avengers, because of the Avengers. Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame. It speaks for itself. Loki, because Loki's in here, and there's two of them. There's two Lokis, technically. There's the one that holds Yggdrasil, the world tree, in the timeline, and there's the one that seemingly is going to send Steve Rogers to the Fantastic Four Earth. Shang-Chi. Great movie. You should watch that every week. Can we get the numbers bumped on Shang-Chi on Disney Plus? Spider-Man No Way Home, because Tobey Maguire is probably going to be in this movie, and some stuff happens. Black Panther Wakanda Forever. It speaks for itself. Captain America Brave New World also speaks for itself, because Captain America. Deadpool and Wolverine. Yeah, they're in this, and something's going to happen that's going to piss off a lot of people. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, that makes sense. Incursions, Doctor Strange. He's probably working for Doom. Thunderbolts, again, makes sense to watch that movie. They're in all the trailers. And Fantastic Four First Steps. That'd be the weird one not to watch. Okay. Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man Season 2. Something. I realized I didn't watch this. What is this 38-second long thing? Let's see. What is this? It doesn't have any sound. Oh, okay. So this is like a... oh, okay. Oh, right. So there's a lot happening here. Okay, how am I gonna do this? Because this is one of the things I forgot to watch. I guess I will go to the little corner webcam. Hi, I'm little now, if you're watching the video. Yeah, so this is the Spider-Man stuff. There's Nico doing magic. Here's a live reaction. Cool, the lizard. Okay, well, that kind of spoils it. I like the jacket on Gwen. I don't like that Gwen is also a spider in this universe. Daredevil and his girl sidekick. Okay, Spider-Man Season 2. Cool. And then we get a little piece of comedy or something, or whatever. What is this? Oh, no. Oh, no. Not the goop. Oh, no. I forgot about the goop. Oh, man. That's disappointing. Who's this person blowing up? Who knows? Looks fantastic. I'm really excited. I thoroughly loved the first season of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. I thought it was really cool. I really enjoyed the art style. Obviously not as good as Spectacular, but still really fun. But it has Venom. And Spider-Gwen for some reason. Which, again, her costume's cool. It's kind of just... It's regular Gwen with less white. And like a leather cut-off jacket. There's not really much to say about this little sizzle reel teaser trailer thingy. Other than, yeah, I don't like the goop. I'm not looking forward to the goop. I hate the goop. That, of course, being Venom, the symbiotes. Not a fan of the symbiotes. There's also a showcase sizzle reel of Marvel's Wolverine. Well, I suppose the proper term is Insomniac's Marvel's Wolverine. And it shows Jean and, Logan, Jean Grey, and Team X stand against Bolivar Trask and deadly villains in the latest trailer for Marvel's blah, blah, blah. There's Omega Red, there's Sabretooth, Mystique is there. There's the Sentinel that Godzilla Mendoza was bitching about on Twitter because he still uses X for some reason. I don't know. That's all I could really think of. I guess I watched this teaser. I'm watching it again right now. I forgot most of this stuff happened. I'm not going to be buying the game mainly because I don't have a PlayStation 5, and I'm waiting for the PC release. Cool, I guess. It looks neat. I feel like Wolverine looks weirder and weirder every trailer they show for this game. Is that just me? His face is changing, right? Like, he looks different every time he shows up. Alex, referring to Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. First few episodes were a little boring, but picked up as it went through. I enjoyed the relationship between Peter and Norman, especially since we haven't seen that in a while. I agree. And also, Coleman Domingo, aside from just being super hot and having an awesome voice, not his worth, is just awesome. He's so fucking cool. Johnny Boy, they definitely added Venom to get more viewers. Yeah. Mellow Marshy, they are excited to see if we have a Daredevil Spidey team up to fight the Kingpin in this season or the next. Was there concept art for Kingpin? Because I remember there was a handful of concept art pieces that got leaked several months ago for this next season. And I know I talked about them because I remember talking about Gwen and being disappointed, and then talking about the symbiote and being disappointed then. And then I forgot about that element. And then you got to see me be disappointed again, or as Boki Woki says in the chat, Smokey when he sees Venom, I hate it, I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. Ian says, sorry Insomniac, still not buying a PS5 for this. Yeah, right. And Air Cool, talk about Across the Spider-Verse intro? I assume you mean the trailer, or like the leaked one, I guess? I discussed that last week on the episode. It's 3 minutes of a scene we've kind of already seen from different angles, and then maybe a minute of new footage. It looks cool. The other Marvel stuff as we wrap it up here, getting close to almost 2 hours. I was hoping this would be an hour-long video. Then I started bitching about Robert Kirkman. And that is the Disney Parks stuff. And this is technically tied into Marvel. This is technically MCU. Avengers Infinity Defense and Stark Labs. We got some exclusive looks at those. Coming to Avengers Campus at the Disneyland Park and Disney's California Adventure theme park. Avengers Infinity Defense and Stark Flight Lab, as well as a Spider-Man themed land for Shanghai Disney, which looks weird. It doesn't look the best. Actually, let me go and find... I have them saved here somewhere. How's everybody doing? Let's see. Where's the Spider-Man bullshit? Avengers Tower. No, that's not right. Avengers Defense. So, Avengers Defense. The Disney Parks tweeted out on X, a few familiar faces are joining in on the action. Robert Downey Jr., Anthony Mackie, and Chris Hemsworth will be featured in Avengers Infinity Defense opening at Disney California Adventure in 2028. When the new attraction officially debuts a California Adventure theme park, you'll be welcome to Avengers Infinity Defense as new recruits. I'm glad they're doing that. I'm never a fan of these rides that make me the main character. That's why I love the Pirates of the Caribbean so much. That's why I love Haunted Mansion so much. I guess Haunted Mansion, you are more of a character, because, like, but not really. You're just trapped there. You're not, like, influencing what the ghosts are doing in any way. You're a freaky purveyor. And then with Pirates of the Caribbean, you're having a story told to you. And Pirates of the Caribbean is awesome, by the way. Check out my, how long was it? 8-hour long video on my first ever and only ever trip to Disneyland and Disney California Adventure theme park on the channel. Available now. Pirates of the Caribbean is just awesome because that is just, pure story. You are being told a story and the whole ride is, going into the imagination itself. Anyway, you're going to be new recruits for the Infinity Defense, where your journey begins with a pre-mission briefing from Miss Marvel, played by Iman Vellani. Woo! I am so glad she's back, doing something at least, as Kamala Khan. I love Iman Vellani. I think she's awesome. I love her in Miss Marvel, the show, and also The Marvels. No matter how hard Disney tries to hide that film, I think it's really fun. I'm so glad. Can we get some claps in the chat? Please clap. Can we get some woos for Iman Vellani's triumphant return as Miss Marvel as some kind of hologram projection of herself talking about this ride? Here you'll get your key mission. Reassemble the Avengers to battle King Thanos, preventing the Mad Titan from wreaking havoc everywhere. Also, Jeremy Renner's here as Hawkeye, Anthony Mackie's Captain America, Chris Hemsworth is Thor, Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man. Thor has a cool helmet. And also, here's the thing, they gave Anthony Mackie the white Captain America costume. AKA the one that actually looks cool and unique to his character and isn't just copying Steve Rogers' costume. Once on board, you'll be surrounded by massive physical sets, blending seamlessly with huge media scenes, putting you into the middle of the action as you feel you're hurtling across many worlds. Quote, the fun part about Avengers Infinity Defense is how we get to use every single trick in the Imagineering book, inventing some new ones to create this attraction. You'll travel to iconic locations like Asgard, Wakanda, and New York City. Next to heroes you've come to know and love, while, spoiler alert, coming face to face with King Thanos himself. I wonder if it's Josh Brolin. Did they get Josh back for this? It feels like very expensive. What are you guys talking about over here in the chat? Alex, I always wondered what Josh Keaton's Spider-Man would be like if he voiced Spidey in the Insomniac games, like Yuri, but always makes me wonder. I also saw those games as equals to the Arkhams. Yeah, definitely. Well, at least the first one. I haven't played the second one or the Miles spinoff, but yeah, that first Spider-Man Insomniac game is definitely on par with like the Arkham franchise, I think. Alex asks, is Universal actually looking to give the rights away for The Simpsons? Oh, wait. Is Universal actually looking the rights to The Simpsons license for its rides? I'm not sure what you're trying to ask, but I assume you're asking, is Universal losing the license? Or that's probably what it is. Is Universal losing the rights to The Simpsons license? Yeah, there you go. That makes sense. Yeah, apparently the license is up in like 2028. And I bet they're not going to renew it. Ian asks, what would your superhero name be as an Infinity Defense recruit? That is an amazing idea. At the Universal in Orlando, there is an ET ride, which I'm pretty sure is still there, where you input a name. And then at the end, ET thanks every person on the ride. So he says, thank you, Ian. Thank you, Bob. You know, stuff like that. And there's like groups that go there every now and then and just they all put in the same name. So, you know, it's like, I think it's Tony's, like the riding of the Tonys or something. And they go, thank you, Tony. Thank you, Tony. 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 It's just endless. Imagine if they did something like that for this. That is way too much effort to ask for a Disney park in America. Cool asks, what was the Spaeny discussion? Pretty much how much I love her as an actor and how pretty she is and how good she was in Civil War. Vidi says, I could be a good Quicksilver. Thank you. So yeah, that is, that's the Infinity Defense ride. It's seeming like probably what I'm guessing is it's going to be very similar to Rise of the Resistance, where it's probably like a trackless ride, but I can also see it involving some kind of like motion simulation for these like weird little Quinjet cars that you're flying around in based on the concept art. The main reason I bring it up is just because Iman Vellani's in it. The other one is the Stark Flight Lab, which is using something called a Kuka arm. And that is, if you're familiar with the Universal Harry Potter ride, where it's like through Hogwarts, it's like an arm with the chairs right here and moving around. It's using the same kind of thing. This one looks stupid. And also kind of scary. Depending on how the seats work, because there was concept art showing that the seat part was a separate unit from the arm. So that, you know, I'm sure nothing will happen, but the fear is still there. And then, like I mentioned, there's also something called Avengers Tower, which is only going to be at Hong Kong Disneyland Resort. Seemingly, that is like Tower of Terror, but Avengers themed instead of Guardians of the Galaxy themed or Tower of Terror themed, based entirely upon this concept art for it. Stark Industries and other brilliant minds like Peter Parker work at Avengers research testing labs. However, whenever you have a powerful new tech, you're bound to draw interest from some evil forces, which is exactly where this adventure takes off. Using 120 plus feet of storytelling tech, you'll travel across realms like Wakanda, Asgard, and more. Maybe New York. Caught in the middle of action alongside Spider-Man and your other favorite superheroes. Nearby, a brand new Quinjet landing platform. This is just for like the Avengers land. You know, they have the Quinjet set up and just the stuff built. So pretty much what this is imagine Tower of Terror or the Guardians one, but instead of floors of a building, it's portals, I'd imagine. It's different realities opening up via screen technology. And then, of course, there's the Shanghai Spider-Man land, which just looks insane from the concept art. I'm not sure what I'm looking at. I think it's a roller coaster. This will be the first land anywhere in the world dedicated exclusively to Spider-Man. So this is purely Spider-themed, baby. There's no Avengers. There's no X-Men. There's no fucking anybody else. It's pure Spider all the time, 24/7. Home to the new Shanghai division of Worldwide Engineering Brigade, or WEB for short. Inside the new land, Peter Parker and his friends have created a new set of spider bots to help assemble their experiments and help them build their brand new coaster. Wait. So Spider-Man and the Worldwide Engineering Brigade are building a roller coaster. When things go bad based on the concept art, like I don't know what's happening. He's fighting a giant spider drone thing or something. But there you go. If anybody's going to Shanghai Disney Resort in the next couple of years, you can go to Spiderland. But that's not all. Because Iman Vellani is not only back in Avengers Infinity Defense, coming 2028 exclusively to Disneyland Resort, she's also back via podcast form. Remember Iman Vellani? She's back in podcast form. Because Iman Vellani and Frank Alvarez are set to host the Countdown to Avengers Doomsday official podcast, revisiting some of the MCU's most iconic moments. Watch on Disney+, Marvel's YouTube, or listen anywhere. Or wait, fuck, I messed it up. Or listen wherever you get your podcasts, beginning August 27th. I don't know who Frank Alvarez is. I've never heard that guy or the podcast that he also does in my life. I thought he was like a comic book dude, but no. I guess he just does podcasts or something. I don't know. But this will be fun because, you know, Iman Vellani loves the MCU. She loves Marvel Comics. I really need... I totally forgot after it happened. But I need to buy her comic that she has made and written. I wonder what Robert Kirkman has to say about Iman Vellani's comic book. This also makes sense why you can follow Iman Vellani on Letterboxd. She has an account. And it makes sense why she was logging so many MCU movies a couple weeks ago. It's all adding up. So that'll be neat. You know, I'll probably check it out, see what's happening. It doesn't seem like it's going to be much other than, oh my gosh, look at how great these fabulous Marvel products are. Marvel projects. Did you like when Captain America got Thor's hammer and hit Thanos with it? Me too, Iman. I also liked it when Captain America fought Bucky and Bucky did the knife flip, but you know, with more energy because these two seem like they can be lively and actually act. Unlike the fucking people at D23, which was apparently a mess, too. There's a whole, like, Neil Patrick Harris hosted a 3-hour event, and apparently it was falling apart. It was not good to watch. And, yeah, the final thing I have to discuss is Marvel Fanfare Panel, which... who cares? I'm not going to bother talking about this. I would rather go on a high note of discussing Iman Vellani and this weird new MCU podcast. I hope in every episode she calls out Kevin Feige for trying to make the MCU Earth 616, because it's not. It's Earth 199999, a subreddit you can visit on Reddit that I created. Have you ever been there? To the Earth 199999. That was me. It's a roleplay subreddit that I have no interaction with anymore. What is going on in the chat as we come to a close only 2 hours later? Tactical J. Smokey, I'm curious. Who is that tall, dark figure in the blue shirt right above the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man on my shelf? Right here. That is Goliath, Black Goliath, a name that I think is far cooler than Goliath. But that is, you know, Bill Foster. I love that figure. I bought it like 2 years ago, I think, and I was having so much fun just like posing him and like holding him in my hands. Really cool Marvel Universe figure from 2010s or so. The fun thing about it is that it's literally just a reuse of a body mold of a Cyclops action figure. If you take his belt off, he still has the molded X belt underneath. And if you look at the figure up close, you can see like the lines of like the Cyclops costume because they just reused it. But it is a fantastic figure. It goes really well with Marvel Legends. And if you're a Bill Foster fan and you don't want that dumb MCU figure, it's your only option. Let's see. Ian has a great name to use at the ET ride.
Thank you, John Lennon.
What's I wonder what the limit is of like characters that you can put for your name? Because I'm pretty sure it goes like
Bobby, Vicky.
like, you know, eventually he thanks the first person, and then after that it's just a list. So you could just say, if you got a group of like 6 people, you could do
John Lennon, John Lennon, John Lennon.
Ian, Avengers, Tower of Terror. You're a lowly custodian trying to escape the building as Loki attacks New York. Don't give him more ideas. Cool says Hong Kong Disneyland's Iron Man ride is awesome. It's a VR ride. Oh yeah, I remember seeing something about it. I don't even think I've ever watched it fully. It's a VR ride where it starts off as a tour around Hong Kong that gets interrupted by Ultron drones, which Iron Man saves the group from. Actually, have I watched that? Or am I thinking of that, like... No, I think I'm recalling that weird Iron Man VR game that came out a handful of years ago that was off-putting and dumb. Decky's Crazy Lore Drop, which I assume is about the Earth 199999 subreddit. If you want another crazy Reddit lore drop, has anybody in the chat or watching this or listening to this in the future, all 193 of you, if any of you have been to the subreddit Don't Dead Open Inside, I also made that one. And I ran it for a while, and then I just had no interest in moderating it, so I gave permissions over to the other people who did such a better job than me of being in charge of that fucking place, because they know, like, coding and, like, CSS and all that stuff to make it look pretty, and actually, you know, paid attention to, like, mod mail and stuff. It wasn't until about a year ago that they finally removed me from the moderator list. It's not like I was doing anything. It's not like I was going to do anything to it. You could have left me there so my name pops up. But yeah, I made that subreddit. And yes, of course, Cool is correct. That is the Marvel Universe Goliath. I don't think I have any other Marvel Universe things. Not really any of them that really go with the figures, unless it's like, I don't know, an Ant-Man maybe. Secret Identity asks, who is my favorite Captain America villain? Batroc Zelibert. I love him. I love his costume. I love his mustache. His Marvel Legends figure from like 2015 was the first one I got when I started fully collecting the line. So he really holds a special place in my heart. And I think he fell off the shelf. But there we have it. Thank you everyone who tuned in to this episode of the Comic Schtick Podcast. If I'm going to be doing a live stream next Friday, I'll let you know at this time. I don't think so, because I don't really have any, I don't know what topics to talk about. We'll see. I'll start posting into the next week if I am. But I hope you enjoyed. What were your thoughts on everything we discussed today? What are your thoughts on Robert Kirkman saying comics are boring if they're too wordy or whatever? On Cailee Spaeny might possibly coming to the MCU, or the Incursions event tying into a Doomsday via movie corporate synergy. But we also discussed Ahsoka Season 2, X-Men, Doomsday, blah, 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 blah. It's way too much stuff. This was a 2-hour-long discourse on pop culture bullshit. Spoken by a madman who is raving constantly. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you have a nice weekend, a nice day, a nice night, a nice evening, a nice afternoon, a nice morning, wherever time zone you're in. And yeah, I think that's it. I'll wait a little bit until the chat catches up if there's any other questions, because I really need some water, and I like hanging out with you guys. Goodbye, Johnny Boy and Tactical J. Thank you all for, tuning in. I don't know what the delay is. Okay, it's gotten to me drinking. All right, hope you all enjoyed. And I'll either see you next week live again on the Comic Schtick Podcast or in a pre-recorded one. And get ready for a couple more weeks of re-releases coming. For the What Is series. I think this week is a Hulk compilation. One final question comes from Secret Identity. Is there going to be a series similar to Civil War and Ultimate Era? I really want to do Secret Invasion when it comes out. Or, in a couple years once it's the 20th anniversary. So stick around for 2028. There's big things coming in 2028. Iman Vellani is going to be at what was it called? Infinity Defense, and Secret Invasion, the full timeline, will be premiering on Smokey's Comic Vault channel. Bye.